Hi, I'm Beth with TB Properties Buys Land. In this series on closing, when you're selling your bare land to a real estate investor, such as TB Properties Buys Land, I thought I would discuss the actual closing date so that you understand a little bit more about what's going on and you feel more comfortable when it comes to closing with a real estate investor. Okay, so when you sell a house or you buy a house, you've got that closing date, it's set on your calendar, and maybe you and your partner or your spouse, you show up to the title company and you're sitting there in front of them and you're signing 5,000 pages, right? Okay, you've been through that experience before. Closing with bare land is a little bit different. It's a little bit easier, actually. And you have different options, okay? So when you think about bare land and having property, your property may be in a different city or a different state, a different part of the country, maybe even a different side of the world than where you're living right now, okay? So you have options to close remotely as well as in person, okay? So what this means if you're closing in person, let me back up. On our contract, we say that the closing date is on or before a certain date. So we've had some issues with title companies taking a little bit longer to close. We used to close in about 2 weeks, in certain areas. And now we're seeing it closer to 4, sometimes even 5 weeks to close, especially as you get closer to summertime. Okay, so we've been putting about 4 to 5 weeks on our contract, but we always say on or before that certain date. That way, if title can close faster and you want to get paid faster, that's open for that, okay? But let's just say, we've gone through the title process, we've gotten the commitment and everything's there, and title says we're ready to close by this date. If you want to close in person, the title company will schedule an appointment for you to come in and sign the information. If they've given us our information early enough, what we're going to do is close remotely. We will get our paperwork overnighted. We will send our wire or an overnight check to them. And if everything's in line, when you come in to sign the paperwork, they'll have several pages for you to sign. They'll be able to fund you in person that day, which is pretty cool. So you can walk away with a check from the title company and you can drive straight to your bank to deposit it, okay? So if you're local or if you're not local, but you wanna close in person, that's an option, and you wanna drive in, ask title. Title will allow you to do that. Another option is remote, like we talked about. If you're far away or you don't want the inconvenience of having to drive in, what you can do is ask for a remote closing. And you have options. Title can either overnight you the closing package with all the paperwork in there, and all you do is drive that to your bank, who will notarize things for free most of the time, or you can go to your local pack mail type place and they'll notarize for a fee. And what you do is they'll have an overnight label in there. You sign everything. Sometimes they'll ask you to sign in blue ink. And they'll tell you where to sign everything. They'll show you exactly where and what items need to be notarized. Once everything's done, you take that label, you put that in the FedEx or the UPS envelope. You don't have to even think about anything, worry about an address. You just put that label on there and then you overnight it back. Another option is, if you don't want to wait for them to overnight something, is they'll just email you the documents. You will print them on your computer and then you drive to the notary, whoever you choose to get your stuff notarized through. But that's easy. That is called a remote closing. Both are safe and easy. You can drive in or you can do this remotely, and that works. Throughout our process when working with TB Properties Buys Land, I can't speak for other real estate investors, we give you the file number. We have title communicate with you directly. You can call title and say, hey, I'm the seller on file number ABC. I have questions. How am I going to get funded? I want this wired, or I want to close in person. You can talk to them directly. That way you have transparency throughout the entire process. Here at TB Properties Buys Land, we always close the title company for your safety. We pay in cash so that we can close quickly. And we love to buy vacant land from people all over the country. So if you have land in other places, reach out to us. We're willing to check out your property and see if we can make a purchase. Thanks again for listening, and we look forward to working with you.